Hi, this is Snaell from Vanilla Equity. Today we have Dollar Tree on the radar. Now we're following the same theme as before. We're going into a recession, unless you already think that we're in a recession. It's a global recession and people will start to save money. And what do? Well, they will cut down on their spending by finding cheaper alternatives when shopping. And when we look at dollar stores, Dollar Tree seems to be the one that's the biggest and the most known and really known for their low prices. So we have similar stores around the world. I would say there's no international chain that I'm aware of, but I'm focusing on the US market since the dollar is strong and that's where we have presumably the strongest economy still. And there, the dollar store chain seems to have a good reputation and people actually find things that are cheap. They're not necessarily $1 as you might assume, but still they're cheap and people expect it to be cheap. So this is along the lines that we have with McDonald's and we have with Domino's Pizza, that we're trusting that the consumer will continue to spend money. They will take some hard choices, cut down on the extra spending. They won't probably buy a car next year. Instead, they will look at the options they have and say, well, let's have a look if we can find something cheaper. And that's when the Dollar Tree comes in. And I have to say, I love that name, Dollar Tree. I would love to open up a company and just call it Dollar Tree. Amazing name. And they actually have really good cash flow, revenues coming in, assets, and this is something that's really interesting as well. When you look at a company and what assets they have, you have to think that, okay, with inflation, the prices of everything goes up. So if a company has a lot of assets, let's say you're into manufacturing and you manufacture already a lot of product, you're going to sell that product for a higher price. But if you're a service company and you just provide a service, you have no inventory, maybe you don't have any real estate, then that effect will only be shown in prices of the employees, the salaries, and running expenses, and then the product or the service fees that you charge. But we have an increase in the assets of Dollar Tree. The revenues are great. They did cut down on their forecast for next year, and so we actually have now, when you look at the graph of Dollar Tree and the stock price, you actually see that we have quite a dip going on, and this is a stock that I would love to add to our watch list, stocks that we monitor, and we say that we put them on the radar. And the best way, I think, for anyone to put a stock on the radar is to actually purchase. You don't need to purchase a lot of stock. You just purchase some shares in Dollar Tree, and the fact that you purchase those shares will make you more interested in that business, and you will inevitably look at the stock price, and then when it becomes cheaper, you're going to buy more. And this is really very simple strategy. It's nothing very special in this, but when we pick these securities, we're looking for very solid companies that won't go bankrupt. Maybe it's not that sexy company, Dollar Tree. They're not creating the automated car or anything, new technology or anything ESG breakthroughs here, but they're a cash cow and they're likely to survive. And I think it's a great opportunity to look at this type of companies. And if you have any good suggestions on what companies you would like to have on the radar or that you have on the radar, please let us know in the comments. I think the next thing we'll look at is probably a pharmaceutical company. I really think that when times get tough, you're going to need more medication because you're going to be more stressed, and you're still going to have sicknesses, and you're going to have more illnesses, you're going to have more trouble, and the pharmaceuticals will always sell. So that's probably next week, we're going to look into that. But for now, I'm Eric Snaell, and this is Vanilla Equity. If you want to know more about Vanilla Equity, head on over to vanillaequity.com. See you next week then.